Hey Gastro pals, it's Tiny Small Fry here again. As you know, I do like the occasional glass of wine, and if you've seen one of my other videos where I make wine from tea, then you'll know that I'm not averse to making things like this myself. This time I thought I'd have a go at making cider. Now, anybody watching in America uses the term hard cider for what I'm going to be making, and I'm using just ordinary apple juice, the cheapest of chips apple juice you can get. This was 50p a carton. I think you can get it cheaper somewhere else, but I just happened to be in a store where it was 50p a carton. Now, it's got no preservatives in it. It's apple juice from concentrate, so I won't need to boil it to get rid of the preservatives. And it's got 10 grams of sugar per 100 millilitres, which basically means that it's got about 500 grams of sugar in 5 of these. So I've had to add in an extra 300 grams of sugar, and I threw in an extra 100 grams just for good measure, because I kind of like my cider a little sweeter than what I'm normally going to make. And if it gets a little stronger because we put more sugar in, then well, hey. So let's go and have a crack at doing this. I've put a litre of the apple juice into a saucepan. Now I shall add in 400 grams of sugar and warm it up until the sugar is dissolved. Minutes later, the sugar has dissolved. I've placed a couple of litres of apple juice into the Demijohn already, and then I add in the sugar and apple juice mix. Then top it up with more apple juice from Cartons. Then we add a teaspoon of yeast compound and put in the airlock. Right, well, we're about 12 hours later. As you can see, it's already picked up a head of steam. And that'll be all the yeast getting involved with the sugar and converting it to alcohol. So, see you in about 2 weeks' time. Well beyond the 2 weeks that I said we'd need to wait for our hard cider to ferment. And there's a very good reason for that, in the fact that I actually opened it up after the 2 weeks. It was still bubbling away a little bit, and tested it, and it took the top of my head off. It was really strong, so obviously the 400 grams of sugar that I put in there turned what was supposed to be just a strong cider into rocket fuel. And so I started again from scratch, but this time using 200 grams of sugar as opposed to the 400 grams of sugar added in that I did before. So that in itself has actually reduced the alcohol content. I have had a little bit of a taster, and I hasten to add I didn't have a full pint because I'm a little bit wary, what with tomorrow being a school day and all that. I'm back at work tomorrow. But this little taster it's quite a sour, dry cider, but it's nowhere near the rocket fuel with the 400 grams that I had before. Because bear in mind, if I'd just fermented the ordinary apple juice, then we'd have been looking at sort of like a 5% cider. Which I think is something that I'll probably do in the future and have another go at it. But this is it's about an 8%, which is why I'm treating it with a little bit of respect. This is okay, actually. So works out approximately 33p a pint for an 8% cider. Obviously it's not a session beer, but I will give it a go without adding sugar in the near future, and I will let you know how it gets on by adding on to the end of this video, no doubt. If you give it a go, let me know how you get on with the comments below. Cheers.